So I bet y'all are wondering, how do we go from this to this?
Jim and Lydia here. Welcome back to Cajun Country Living. Now before we get started, all of you dry pour haters and concrete whisperers, I've come prepared for you today. So take one of these, kick back, and get relaxed, and we're going to show you how to build a huge, beautiful set of dry pour stairs.
Should I start passing them around?
Here you go. Y'all stay hydrated. Be careful. That's too many tears. No, you're all right. Here, take one of these. We're actually going to be building this set of stairs over at my brother and sister-in-law's house. Now this house is, y'all know, Wags, the dirt doctor, in the flesh. This is where he resides. Now if y'all been watching us for any amount of time, you know that both of my brothers are always ready to drop what they're doing and come give us a hand whenever we get in a bind, and they'll do it at a moment's notice. So the dirt doctor was telling me about his steps that were really needing to be replaced, and we thought, you know what a better project.
This has been one of the top, probably most requested dry pour videos, and we're not just going to do one little step here, y'all. We are going to be taking on a full set of stairs, over 8 feet wide, 5 steps up. So we're really going to be able to give y'all a really in-depth, good way of how we're going to be doing this dry pour.
Another key point that this video is going to show, and I know there's been a ton of dry pour videos put out there ever since we launched the first one, but the big thing is as well, the concrete powder will never get wet in the middle of your slab, and it's always going to be crumbly. And we've debunked that, I don't even know how many times now, but that was just on a little slab. This is 3 foot tall, 3 foot thick.
And at the end of this, we are going to be taking these forms off, so we're going to be able to actually see, does the water seep all the way through or does it not?
Essentially, all that we did was build a form out of plywood to fill full of dry concrete powder. One thing to keep in mind in your area is I'm pretty sure everywhere there is a code for the amount of rise that you can have in these stairs. And looking around generally, it looks like 7 5/8, 7 3/4, somewhere around in there, maybe 7 7/8. We wanted to make sure we were well within those specs. So all we did was take the number of 6-inch rise, and divide it by the height, which is 36 inches. And that gave us the rise that we used here. Now, as the actual length of each step, all we did, this is 48 inches long. We took that measurement and just divided it into an even number. These stairs are 8 foot wide, 36 inches tall, and 4 feet long, 4 feet deep. However you want to look at that particular part of it. But that's what we have here, and this is going to be a massive, massive set of stairs, and I cannot wait.
In order to be able to get these forms put in place and level, we're going to have to do a little bit of dirt work around here just to ensure that we have everything level and ready to go.
We have some more of our dry pour videos listed down into the description, and there you can find some tips and tricks and some other projects that we've done that you might find useful.
Well, yesterday we was able to get these concrete step forms put in position. It took a little while because we had to make sure that everything was right, and another thing we was taking into consideration was when we get ready to remove these forms, are we actually going to be able to do it? We did install a couple of concrete pins on each side just to give it that little added support. Probably didn't need it, but I'm always going to err on the safe side.
So this morning we are officially going to be starting the dry pour process. Now, it probably seems like this has taken us a long time, but that's just because we live in South Louisiana. It is extremely hot, and we just wanted to get the coolest part of the day, so we've been taking it step by step. We haven't been in a rush to do this, but realistically, we really could have done all this in one day, but taking our time makes us not have to sweat so much. That's a simple fact of it.
Another reason we're out here bright and early is this is a pretty good sized task. It probably wouldn't be so big of a deal if we didn't build such a big set of stairs.
But hey, go big or go home.
That's exactly right, but I do feel like I should have got a couple more hours of sleep.
These 80-pound bags we'll remind you of that here shortly.
We'll be dragging ourselves back to the buggy here in a minute. One thing that I feel like is kind of noteworthy on this project is we put in these little strong backs on the front of each one of these step fronts late yesterday evening. Because we made this thing so wide, what I noticed was the front of these faces, you could move them pretty easy. And we wanted to be able to rigid that up. Now, if we made these shorter, it would be more rigid and less likely to bow on us. So to err on the side of safety, but as it is such a span, we ripped 2-inch pieces of plywood and we screwed them in from the back side on the opposite plane. That way, you're actually trying to push against the wood grain structure. So it really made these a lot more rigid and stiff. At this part of the game, it's just like a big old sandbox. We just got to fill it full of concrete. We are going to throw some reinforcement in there and show you how we're going to do that. But in order for us to do it more easily, we're going to pull this middle step face off right now. It don't need to be on there right now, and that's going to give us a larger opening to be able to chunk these bags in there and cut them open and dump out the goods.
Well, that's only 4 bags, so I can't even imagine how many bags of concrete you got.
Well, I can say that I did the math on this, and it absolutely shocked me how much it was going to take. But that number will be revealed at the end.
So we're going to be filling up the back to the front just because it's harder to get access to the back. And that's just in this circumstance. It's just because the set of stairs is so big. But if it was the other way around, I really don't think that there's a wrong way to pour the concrete in. Oh my word.
Nobody said this was going to be easy.
We're only trying to haul a minimal amount of concrete over there at a time because the yard is a little bit damp and we don't want to do anything that's going to rut up their yard. So that's why Jim had it originally delivered right here onto the driveway, and we're just taking little trips and hauling it over, which I would say gives us a break, but I think it more or less makes us work out a little bit more. So right now, what we're doing is filling the bottom of this form. We are going to be putting reinforcement wire in here next, but we don't want to have any of the ground exposed. So for this form, we're putting about,
On average, about 4 inches before we put the first section in.
the other thing that we keep in mind when we put reinforcement wire in here is that we just want to make sure that it is going to be encased in the concrete. So if you can remember that, you're golden. A lot of people always ask us, how do you get the rocks out? How do you get the rocks out? Y'all's didn't have as much rock as mine, but today's going to be a perfect day to show y'all how you can get the rocks out because, so you can tell. One more time, should I say rock? It's quite rocky.
It's full of rock. A lot of times when we do these dry pours, you'll see us, we don't use any kind of concrete reinforcement at all. But in this situation, it's a lot of concrete and it is a big structure. So we are going to be putting some reinforcement steel in. What I have here, this is some old cattle panel that one end was messed up or something like that, you know, and it was put in our scrap pile. So we just cut us a couple pieces big enough to fit the step that we're going to be utilizing it in. And 2, this doesn't go to waste. And this is some really heavy stuff. Now we're not going to be putting in reinforcement on each and every step. Maybe we should, maybe we should. I don't know. But we are going to be putting it in periodically as we see fit. And like we said before, it's just an added insurance policy because this is such a big structure and Adding a little tensile strength never hurt anything.
Out of all the dry pours that people have sent us, do you have a favorite that you've seen project-wise?
Oh God, I've seen a bunch of good ones. Uh-oh. Ah, you got to blow out. We have had so many cool projects sent to us, things that, I mean, I would have never even thought of. Probably my favorite dry pour project that people have sent in so far is Mr. Steve and Miss Jill's project. That was super cool. They did a whole driveway, and I mean, they use this thing every day.
I think my favorite one is like on the complete other side. Yours was kind of like the technicality side, but I think mine's gonna be the aesthetic side. Somebody sent, and I'll have to look at their name, but I'll put it on the screen here. Somebody sent us an Instagram message and showed where they made, I don't want to say it was pavers because they were huge, and that's almost disrespectful to the project that they did. And they put dry pour, I don't even know, like big old slabs right in front of their house, and it just looked beautiful.
Oh,
Like,
I remember.
beautiful.
I remember you showing me that. That was cool.
We've never done something like that. So to see somebody turn it like that and even turn it into something like aesthetically pleasing, not just for like a purpose. Like everything that we've done has been like a sidewalk for a purpose. But this was just like, just something so different. It was really, really cool. So we've got our forms almost all the way filled up. Usually we'd start a screeding process, but since this is so thick and deep of concrete, we're gonna make sure to go around the edges and do a little love tapping with our little love tap hootis right here, and just gently go around the edges on both sides and make sure that there's no voids. If you have any voids, you have some honeycombing, I believe is what they call it, on the sides. So just some void spots, and we really wanna make this side look as flush as possible with this plywood. So how we're gonna do that is just lightly come across here and just tap on both sides. It'll bring all those air pockets up. Then we'll be able to fill that back in with some concrete, and then we'll start the screeding process. All right, so now we're going to start our screeding process. And if y'all have seen in other videos, we go into a lot of in-depth of how we're going to do this. Whenever it comes to the stairs, we're obviously going to start from the top, which is going to make this all fall this way. It's just going to be kind of like a domino effect. So all this extra is going to fall down, fall down, fall down. So after the screeding process is whenever we start edging, if you want to edge.
Using this edger is going to make you a nice, smooth, round edge. And also it's going to take that really sharp razor point off of the corner that's subjective to chipping and all that kind of stuff. Put this round edge on there, it's way less likely to chip and cause you issues in the future.
So we do only have 2 of the steps ready for this part, but what we thought was go ahead and do these 2, get them paint rolled, get them edged, and then they're done and ready for water. Then we'll continue down and get the bottom 3. These top 2 are just a little bit awkward for us to get to just because it is so high. So we thought go ahead and get these hard ones out of the way and it'll make the other ones seem easier.
Take everything we got, give it an honest shot, turning it on and off, we've been sliding, riding the highest dream, keeping the fire real, I call for you, hold your gun, cut the wire, aim for fun, with a light to fire, I've been flying off the ceiling, taken by this feeling, maybe we're invisible at last. Fueling every engine, power is descending, baby we're invisible. Over the coming days, let's cut to the chase. We're gonna beat this maze, let's go deeper. I wanna reach it all, taking a leap or fall. I'll get to you. Hold your gun, cut the wire, aim for fun, with a light to fire. I've been flying off the ceiling, taken by this feeling, maybe we're invisible at last. Fueling every engine, power is descending, baby we're invisible. Hold your gun, cut the wire, aim for fun, with a light to fire. I've been flying off the ceiling, taken by this feeling, baby we're invisible. I've been flying off the ceiling.
The watering process we picked for these steps were just as if we were doing the watering process on a 6-inch slab. The rule of thumb in our method is that we shower twice for every inch of thickness of slab that you have poured. The reason we chose this is each step is 6 inches thick. During this process, the water will continue to wick into the deeper depths after the upper levels get completely saturated. Now, over the next 4 days, we did periodically wet these steps down again just to be on the safe side whenever it was convenient. Simply because this project is the thickest dry pour done to date, and we wanted to make absolutely sure that it was saturated all the way through to the bottom.
And we feel like that's an adequate amount of time, more than adequate amount of time, to fall in here and start ripping these forms off, and let's see the finished product here. If a project like this or something similar to it is something that you'd like to do, and you'd like to see how that I built these forms to put in place to make this dry pour, drop down in the comments and let us know. I'd be happy to do a video on how I built these.
Alrighty, it's time to take them off. Well, you can say that holds the weight.
Yep. More than I can say about the plywood.
Ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3. All right, y'all. Well, all that we have left to do is just sweep this little bit of grit that's on the stairs off, and we'll be able to call her good.
I think all in all, they turned out really, really good. There is a few little minor imperfections in there that wish wasn't in there, but it's no showstopper for sure. Considering the size and the magnitude of this, I would say we're about 99%.
And as for the color of these stairs, right now they kind of look multicolored gray, but as they cure and they dry completely out, it'll all be a nice, pretty light shade of gray.
All right, y'all. Well, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see y'all in the next Dry Pour.
As we wrap up here, remember this. Hard work is the foundation upon which all success is built. Embrace new ideas and let your creativity soar. For it's innovation that drives us forward. Take pride in the power of DIY, knowing that your hands can bring your visions to life. And above all else, believe in yourself. Self-confidence is your greatest ally in any journey. Keep pushing, keep creating, and keep believing. We'll see you soon, Cajun family.